Hello and welcome back to Children's Reading Cove. This is Chapter 4 of Stink and the Midnight Zombie Walk. Curse of the Zombie Baloney. Sophie and Webster came over. Stink was sitting on the floor with Toady in his lap. He fed his toad 2 freeze-dried mealworms. "I brought face paint," said Sophie, "so we can practice zombie makeup." "I brought bloodshot eyeballs," said Webster. "They're really for bike spokes, but we can glue them onto stuff." "And I have tofu, erasers, and silly putty," Stink told them. "Stuff that looks like brains, and glow-in-the-dark gummy worms for maggots crawling all over us." Sophie shivered. Webster decided to dress like a zombie soccer player. Sophie was going to be a zombie Girl Scout. Stink could not decide on a costume. "It has to be scary and creepy." He opened his lunchbox. He took a bite of leftover bologna sandwich and ketchup. Toady croaked. Stink's elbow knocked over the puppet that was sitting on his desk chair. The puppet had great big glary eyes, creepy red lips, and scary eyebrows. And it was wearing a tuxedo. Sophie picked up the puppet. "You could dress up like this doll. He's creepy." "Charlie's not a doll. He's a dummy. A ventriloquist dummy." "A who's-he-what's-it dummy?" asked Webster. "Ventriloquist. You know, like a guy with a puppet who can throw his voice. See, I make Charlie talk without moving my lips." "Let's see," said Webster. Stink sat Charlie on his knee. "I may be a dummy," said Charlie, "but I'm not dumb." His head snapped back and forth. His mouth clacked open and shut. "And I'm not afraid of zombies." Sophie cracked up. "I saw your lips move," Webster said, pointing at Stink. "Hey, let's zombify Charlie," said Stink. Stink dropped his bologna sandwich. Plop! Out fell the bologna. Toady hopped out of his lap. Stink took out scissors and cut Charlie's tux to shreds. Sophie painted Charlie's face green, with black circles under his eyes and drips of red blood. Webster stuck a big gob of chewed up ABC gum on Charlie's head for brains. Stink held up Charlie. "Me, zombie." "He's a little scary," said Sophie. "Toadie's scared too. Look at him go! Toady hopped across the rug, heading straight for the baloney. Spooky, said Webster, shaking off a chill. Charlie's like the dummy in the freaky old movie, the one where he hides in the kid's closet. Yipes! I think I have automatonophobia, said Stink. What's that? Asked Sophie and Webster. A fear of dummies, no lie. All of a sudden, Stink heard a creepy sound. The heater hissed. A clock ticked. The pipes moaned. The light buzzed. Pop! Stink saw a flash, and the light on his desk lamp burned out. The room went dark. Ah! Stink tossed Charlie up in the air and jumped up to flick on the overhead light. Look, Charlie, zombie, said Webster in a shaky voice, huddling in the corner. Sophie gasped. Charlie was sitting on Stink's race car bed, head backward, one black and bloody eye open. Webster leaned in closer. Did he just say something? Did who just say something? Stink asked. Charlie. You mean, did I just say something to make Charlie say something? Huh? Yes, I meant, no, I don't know. What did you hear him say? I heard him say baloney. I didn't make him say baloney. Who said baloney? Sophie asked. What did you make him say? Webster asked Stink. I didn't make him say anything, said Stink. Ha ha, very funny, Stink, said Webster. Seriously, said Stink. I thought one of you guys said baloney. I didn't say baloney, said Sophie. I didn't say baloney, said Webster. Judy, said Stink. He looked out in the hall. No sign of his sister. Well, if I didn't say baloney, and you didn't say baloney, and Sophie didn't say baloney, and Judy didn't, then Stink felt zombie goosebumps up and down his back. Ah! He screamed and pointed to something pink hopping across the floor. Did you see what I saw? Stink asked. The baloney. It moved, said Sophie. It's undead, said Webster. Curse of the zombie baloney! Stink yelled, flailing his arms. The three friends got up, zoomed out of the room, and slammed the door behind them. Phew, that was a close one, said Webster. Let's never go back in there. But we left Toady in there with Evil Eye Charlie, said Sophie. I have to save him, said Stink. I'm going in. He cracked the door open. He looked around. No sign of Toady. The zombie ate him, said Webster. Toad soup. Toad brains, said Sophie. Stink stared at the undead baloney. It was no longer moving. It was still as a stone, but it had a big lump under it. Stink crawled over to the baloney. He reached out a hand. Quick as a wink, he lifted up the baloney. Toady! Toady was attacked by the zombie baloney, Webster shouted. That does it, said Stink. He put Toady back into his tank. This room is now a zombie-free zone. He grabbed One-Eyed Charlie and tore out of his room. He dashed across the hall into Judy's room. He yanked open her closet and hid Charlie at the way bottom of the clothes hamper under heaps of dirty laundry. Phew! Safe from talking dummies and walking baloney with a curse on it. For now. End of chapter 4. We'll see you back here very, very soon for chapter 5. Bye-bye.